Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those who do not know me, my name is Khidr and this is Khidr Unnveiled, a YouTube channel where we are learning to grow in Christ and improve in every aspect of life. So today is all about entry for nursing. So today's video is all about taking the TEAS test, and I found that it was needed to really talk about the TEAS test because I remember when I took my TEAS test almost 5 years ago and I got into the nursing program, and so many times like throughout I have helped others take the TEAS test. I have learned how to study for different types of tests, and I've also passed my NCLEX, which is for those who do not know, those the NCLEX is for those who already went through nursing school, who's taken the national test, which is the NCLEX, to become a nurse. So today is all about taking the TEAS test, which is a fundamental entry academic type of test for nursing students. And I figured it would be the best time to do it now because during September to December, usually this is either the first semester where you are trying to take your TEAS test to get into the nursing program in January, or you are preparing to enroll in school and you have to take the TEAS test first before being accepted. So without further ado, let's get into this video. All right, guys, so let's talk about the TEAS test. So like I said before, the TEAS test is all about, it's like an academic entry test for those who are enrolling in nursing school or who's looking to enroll in some type of healthcare program. And it's just a standardized test. It's something like once you're in like junior or senior year of high school, you take your SATs or something like that. It's almost like that. You have to take this test in order to get into a lot of schools, a lot of nursing schools or healthcare programs. So the TEAS test, like I said, is standardized. It is a fundamental test that tests like your mathematics, your reading, your writing. And according to ATI, which is a system that we actually used in college, the TEAS test is 120 minutes. Let me check my notes. It is 209 minutes. Sorry, it's 209 minutes, and it's 170 multiple choice questions. Now, from what I remembered, I always felt like I had like some things where I had to fill in the blank. Granted, it was still multiple choice, but I felt like I had to write something in. But nevertheless, TEAS test, 209 minutes, 170 questions, and you have 5 topics. So like I said, you have reading, you have math, you have science, English, and that's it. So you actually have 4: reading, math, science, and English. So mathematics, of course, if you're going to become a nurse, if you're going to become any type of healthcare professional, most likely you're going to have to take some type of pre-calc, calculus, like some type of math course. So in math, you have 36 questions and 54 minutes to complete it. You need to know how to do the basics: addition, multiplication, subtraction, division, exponents, and all that stuff. Algebra, measurements. You get the point. Next, it goes to science. Science and math was always my favorite things to study. I don't know, like, if you guys have visited my last video, which I'll put here, but my original goal was to become a pharmacist. But now that I'm in nursing, I actually really do love nursing, and I'm glad I chose to go in it and I stuck with it. But anyway, so you have science, and you learn like the basic biology, your basic A&P, your what's the cells, what's the part of the cells, what's the part of the body. 53 questions, 63 minutes, and let's see, specific scientific reasoning. I honestly do not remember scientific reasoning, but I'm sure if I read about it, like, it will come right back to me. Reading in English. Now, reading in English was not my strong suit at all. In elementary, in middle, in high school, in college, it was never my strong suit. Like, I don't know why they separated English and reading. I guess someone who's out there who is an English teacher can explain that to me. But you do have, I mean, I get it. I do get it, because reading, you have to learn how to break down what you're reading. You have to know that you can comprehend it. You can't, like, stuff like that. So I do get it. So reading is 64 minutes, so a little bit over an hour, 53 questions, and it says it's craft and structure key ideas, integration of knowledge and ideas. And then English is 28 questions, 28 minutes. And areas that includes the standard English, knowledge of language, vocabulary acquisition, what do certain words mean, what does certain punctuation, where does certain punctuations go, stuff like that. And from what I do remember, they usually will have you do, okay, this is the reading part, you start your test, and then once you finish, I think it like stops you at that point, or you like pause it for a little bit until everyone's done, and then you go to the next part, which is your math or your science. So it's not like it's all mixed up at once. From what I remember, I did have to take it reading, math, science, and then English. Some of the stuff that I did to pass my TEAS test. So these are the tips that I'm going to tell you of how to pass the TEAS test and what you should do in order to ensure that you have ample time to pass it. First and foremost, take the TEAS test early. Do not wait until the last minute to take your TEAS test. So if you know you have to, if you know in order to get into the nursing program that starts in January, and you need to provide your documentation or your test results by December, do not wait until December 1st, because you only have like 2 weeks to take the test, and then you have to submit them. And if you know, like, your school is going to be out for winter break. So I would advise, if you can take it in August or September, take it then, just so you know, like, okay, what is it that I don't know? What is it that I need to refresh on? And if you take it in September, I don't remember if there's a waiting time where you have to do it. I think it's like 4 weeks, if I'm right. It's a couple weeks in between where if you don't pass it the first time, you have to wait like 4 to 6 or 4 to 8 weeks in order to take the next test. So if you take it in August or September, let's say September, the end of September, and you don't pass it, you have at least October and the end of November to take it again and to submit your results, or to study and retake it and to submit your results. So one, take your TEAS test early to make sure that you have ample time to get into the nursing program. Tip two. What I did when I was preparing for TEAS test, I actually went to the library and studied. I got some books. Like, I went to the librarian and asked her, do you have any test taking strategy books or any TEAS strategy books? And sometimes, depending on the school that you go to, they will give you like TEAS preparation courses or TEAS books for you to be able to study out of. If they give you that, please make sure that you are studying from that book, or you are using that material, because those materials really do help and go a long way. Like I said, my first college was I went to a community college at first. I went to Salem in New Jersey, and I went to the library to get a TEAS test book. And I also went to, I want to say it was a missions or something, where they actually gave me a book because they knew I was in a nursing program. So they gave me a book that says TEAS Prep. I went through it. They had different sections. And what I personally did was go through there and read the questions and try to answer it for myself. So that's one. Get materials from your library or from your school that will help with your TEAS test. If you can afford ATI is a good system. It is sometimes redundant because they make you learn the material so much back to back. But I did use ATI to take the TEAS test, and I used ATI in order to take my NCLEX, which I passed on the first time. So if you can get the ATI, use free material in the library. Make sure that you're using those books or the books that your school gives you. Also, what I did was make sure that one thing I also did was make sure when I went online and I seen that for instance, math was, let's say reading, because reading was one of my hard subjects. Reading was 64 minutes. In the book, if it gave me a test, I would take that test and I would time myself literally 64 minutes or an hour of how long I had, so that I can try to get through all the questions so that I wouldn't leave anything open. I believe if you leave one open, it either omits it or it counts it against you. I believe it omits it. So I didn't want to omit anything, especially if I knew I could have answered the question. So let's see. We got our books. Make sure you take your test early. Make sure you're using the correct study materials, ATI, study TEAS books. You can find TEAS books on Amazon as well, which I love. You can also go to nursing.com. Nursing.com is a website that I use for NCLEX, but it's also really, really good for TEAS and any entry test that you are looking to take in order to get into like a nursing program or a medical program. So once again, that is nursing.com. And I actually have the emails. They come to my phone still to this day. Although I've graduated, I've taken my NCLEX, I've been a nurse for a year. I still get those emails because they send little prep stuff about, you know, don't forget how to do these skills, and don't forget that, you know, this is how you compare two things in nursing. And it really helps because I was in cardiac ICU and now I'm gonna move into psych. So I don't want to lose my skills and I don't want to lose my knowledge of what I learned in school. So nursing.com is really good. They have an app, they have a website, and you're able to take practice tests on those. So just a recap, we got 3. We got take your test early. Take your test early and take it, if you can take it twice, take it twice. Make sure you're using the ATI or TEAS material that your school is giving you, or use www.nursing.com, which is not sponsored by me. Also, if you have a laptop or you have access to like Khan's Academy. Khan's Academy is really good if you are struggling in an area. If you're struggling in math, if you're struggling in reading or whatever, you can go in there and you can practice some material, so that way when you're taking the test, you are more comfortable in certain subjects. Like if I knew I was weak in reading and English, that is where I focus. I focus on those 2 areas because that is where I needed most of my help from. Let's see. So we got that. When you are registering for your tests, this is tip 4. When you're registering for your tests, please make sure that you are registering at least 2 weeks early. So if you know, all right, I'm going to strive to take my test in the middle of September or the end of September, make sure that you are registering in the beginning, at the end of August or the beginning of September. And God forbid, if you do not pass the first time and you have to take it again in like November, say if you want to take it November 17th, try to schedule your test to take it November 1st. Schedule it on November 1st to take it November 17th. So try to schedule 2 weeks beforehand so you know that it is done. You're not scrambling to find a center, and you're not scrambling to find times to take the TEAS test. Let's see what else. Review the fundamentals. Make sure that you know the basics, how to do fractions, how to balance chemistry equations. Once again, if you get those books that I'm telling you, ATI books on Amazon, the books that you're using, I mean, not ATI books, the ATI books from ATI, passing TEAS tests on Amazon, and using like nursing.com, you will be able to take practice tests and review the things that you have forgot. Okay. So that was 4. On 5. When you are ready to take your test, make sure that if you're going to study, give yourself some time to study. Make sure you study like 1 to 2 hours a day. Do not sit there and study for 5 hours, because the more you study, the more you forget. I believe when I was studying for my NCLEX, I studied so much that I would be forgetting information until I read something where it says when you study for 1 to 2 hours, it actually helps your mind to remember it. But anything after like 1.5 or something like that, your mind actually does not retain the information. So make sure that you're studying like 1 to 2 hours a day. If it's an hour in the morning, hour in the evening, an hour in the morning, evening, and then at night, make sure that you're spreading out and that you're able to like do other things in between to just keep your mind fresh. I also used TEAS apps. So even though, like, say if I was busy and I wasn't ready to study, but I was on the go, download apps on your phone. We have smartphones now. You can literally type into your app store TEAS test or nursing test, and they should be able to bring up everything that you need to study for, especially for the TEAS. So the night before, I wouldn't study. Do not study the night before. You're going to freak yourself out. Do not study the night before. Make sure you eat a great dinner and a great breakfast in the morning so that your mind is ready, your body is fueled, and you're not drained and, moping through the test. And when you go in there, relax. Get your pencil. Make sure you have everything prepared the night before. So that way when you're going into your test taking center, you're able to focus and you know that everything is okay. One thing that I've always done, I don't know if you guys will do it, but I really encourage you guys to do it, is pray. If you're not familiar with prayer, literally it is a conversation with God. It is literally something that really helped me to calm me down when I was nervous about a test, NCLEX, TEAS. I would literally sit in front of my test before anything started. I would get there actually early. Please make sure you get there early. Do not get there late. Make sure you get there early. But I would get there early. I would sit in front of my test or sit where I was going to sit for the test, and I prayed and I would say, like, God, take away any anxiety, give me peace. Bring back what I remember. Bring back what I studied to my remembrance. Be with me, guide me, and just calm me down. So that's what I did. So let's see. Let's review what we talked about. Some of the tips. I think I gave you 6, but I'm just going to run them off. Make sure that you register for your test early so that way, if God forbid you fail, you're able to take it again. 2, if you're going to use study material, use the TEAS books that your school is giving you. If you have the money, use ATI. You can go on nursing.com to study for your TEAS test. You can get books off of Amazon. You can also use different apps on your phone, like nursing.com or TEAS testing apps on your phone. 3, make sure that you're reviewing the fundamentals. So reading, math, science, English, reading, math, science, English. Yeah. Make sure that you are reviewing the topics, whatever you're not sure of, review them more. Give yourself time and time yourself, and make sure that you are learning it for yourself and you're just not, going back and forth with like, oh, I already did this test, I'm just remembering. Don't remember answers. Really learn it for yourself. Register for your test early. Please make sure that you register for your test early. Not just because you want to take your test early, But if you know I have studied so long for this test and I'm ready to take it, do not wait till the last minute, because you need to be able to get the correct times and the correct dates that work with you so that you're not stressed out when you're going into the test. 5, make sure that you do not study the night before. Eat a healthy dinner and breakfast and prepare everything at night. Get all your books, your purses, whatever. Get it ready at night and then take your test in the morning. Last but not least, I always tell you to pray. That is something that I would definitely encourage you guys to do. But also, I would really want to encourage you guys, if you have a study buddy, please study with someone else so that you guys are able to bounce ideas off of one another and you're able to learn from one another. That is one of the best ways to learn, especially for me. So without further ado, I wish you guys the best. Please, if you have any questions, comment down below or send an email to me. I do have my email in the description box. Comment down below, find me on Instagram, find me on Facebook, DM me, and question anything that I've said so that way I can help you. Thank you guys. If you like this video, please share with someone who is about to go through nursing school or who is struggling to take the TEAS test. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, and I'll talk to you guys soon.